I think it's because like they've released like an album every year since. That's probably what has
Okay,
you thinking.
maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Now, is there supposed to be another way of getting in and attacking that base? Because I think you have a good vantage. Yeah, I think you have a good approach going in.
Hmm.
But whether are you going in the front door in this case?
Yeah. No. Well, see, the front door would have been actually the mine itself. So actually, by going around the cliff face here where the observatory is, that's actually technically the back way in, and
Yeah,
you're
that back way
bypassing.
in seems so well fortified.
It is, but relatively speaking, because like by doing this, you are bypassing a whole mine full of goons with their
Fair.
explosives and rocket launchers and everything else. You were literally skirting above the entire danger zone, as it were.
Yeah, but would there have also been health drops in that?
None.
Damn.
Um,
Okay.
no health drops, no ammo, well, like possibly ammo, but like you're whittling away. It's the same thing as the oil area we had last time with the guy who had the smoke outs. It's like you could be just stuck in so many spawn points that like you're basically out of ammo before you even get to tackle the guy. You know,
Fair enough.
so I think with this set of bosses in particular, it seems to me now you have to try and solve the problem of the game design. It's like you have two choices. Either you can kill everybody in sight and then kill the big boss,
Mhm.
or you can find a way around their design and then win. Any questions?
So again, I'd have to be thinking, is there a faster way for me to get in at that mine entrance?
No, to my understanding, there is an actual like a way to jump in from the back. But I think you'd need to have full agility to do it. Which I don't know if this game insists on you having at this stage. I think it's okay if you have like level two of everything. Um, so yeah,
Nice.
that
Fucking
was
hell. Yeah, not your best idea.
no that didn't work out as planned. I'll be honest. Yeah, no, that wasn't my finest moment. Take that.
Okay. Like, absolutely, this is the way that you play Grand Theft Auto.
To be fair, I have also taken down the mob boss in Vice City with rocket launchers. So, in
Yeah.
fact, I'm really sure I took down Lance Vance with rocket launchers because I hated the cunt. I mean, he totally deserved it. We can all agree he
Oh,
deserved it.
absolutely.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, oh, you cheat.
Fuck off. You say cheat, I call it efficiency.
Nothing more efficient than than grenade. Although I killed Sonny Forelli with grenades.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
That was like from the top of the stairs, just like popping grenades, letting them roll down.
Yep, no, that works out fine.
Yep.
And that was before that was in the game before we had the fucking ragdoll physics. Like that actually would have been easier in theory in this game.
Agency intel advises that the Volk Kingpin's
So now we're down to one more sub boss before we take down Gulyak.
Okay, but since you took out the weapons manufacturer, that should now mean that you won't be dealing with heavy fire.
Yeah, like again, relatively speaking, the mini bosses seem to have their own like resources, which is fine. But certainly when you take on the actual big boss, it is substantially easier.
Grand.
Like I found like personally, even with the first gang, the Los Muertos, like once you took down the all six, the actual boss himself was relatively straightforward. So it certainly is kind of living up to that kind of indication. That being said, though, the mini bosses still are shit. You know, like they're still really awkward fucking things like this,
Yeah.
like this here. And then not only as well, but you also have to deal with the aftermath of killing the mini bosses as well. Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
you're wanted for a while, and then like, especially if you're exposed like you are here, you're fucked. You can't
Yeah.
escape.
So please tell me you don't have to go and kill Olga again.
No, definitely not. Once she's dead, she's dead. That's the whole thing. And believe me, I'm as fucking relieved as you are with that.
How many attempts?
I think I cut out the ones that made the cut there were the ones where I realized about the shortcut in. There were a couple of attempts of me actually trying to go in through the mine and just being brick walled constantly. I think I'm trying to remember now. That one, I think out of the ones in this session, that was probably the most annoying. I think the one that's coming up now is one of the more straightforward ones, but I think that was intended to be the first of the 6.
Okay.
Just going by the way it's designed.
So this is actually getting easier now.
Easier is an interesting word to use there. Like again, intended design and how it plays are two very different things. Like that's I'm actually just arriving at here now. Like it is substantially simpler than the other ones in the sense where like you just like kind of fight your way through, find the guy and kill him, as opposed to having to think your way around it, you know.
Okay, so this guy looks already dead.
Yep. Yeah, he decided that the meth is nice. Meth is really tasty, and maybe you should have some meth too. You know,
what was the what was Dr. Cortex's assistant called?
Oh, engine? No,
the other one.
embryo.
What about
The guy with the Frankenstein looking thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was embryo, wasn't it? He was mixing the conical flasks and throwing stuff at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's embryo, I think. Oh, we just got crushed by it.
While I'm on that, like, will we get another Crash Bandicoot in the next while, do you think?
I hope so. I mean, I did like Crash 4, if you want to call it that. Now, granted, I haven't actually. Yeah, I mean, it called itself that, so I'm going by its preferred title. I didn't complete the final level. I got to it, but I never actually got around to finishing it. But I liked certain parts of it. I think this is where, like, I'm not sure if my taste have changed in games as well. Is that like I felt like there was a bit too much gameplay to a certain extent. There was a lot of gimmicks and mechanics and stuff that was designed to make it interesting.
That was always the case with Crash Bandicoot. They always had like, we're going to change shit up for an episode for a level now.
Yeah, and I get that. So I think, like, in a sense where I suppose for the sake of a new challenge, it worked. Like I won't say no to it. So yeah, I think I'd like to see another one. I think it's a good time to bring out these kind of games now as well, because when you have one like mascot game getting a revival, everyone now wants their one to get a revival too. Because like for Crash, there's going to be Spyro fans out there looking for love, and then you have Rayman fans looking for the same, and then you have like fucking Gex getting a reboot and all this sort of stuff. And that's all. I think it's all good because, as I said, nostalgia is a seller at this moment in time. It works.
Yeah.
You know. I think certainly for Spyro in particular, it is a good game. It's a good game to play with your kid in a sense, because it wouldn't be that difficult. It wouldn't be like nigh on impossible to 100%. It's an easier. It's an entry level into.
There wouldn't be tears.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like you say, Crash is probably the one with the actual challenge in it, where like you say, if you actually are good at games, you'd want to actually give Crash a go. Whereas Spyro is the more like, do you want a more relaxing, easy time of it? That's who you'd pick, you know.
Yeah.
With Rayman somewhere in between.
I'm trying to think. I know I've played one or two of the Raymans, but I don't think I've ever finished one.
Yeah, because we did a round of it for Drink and Play once upon a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they can vary, because the first game is quite cruel, but then the second and third game are actually relatively intuitive. And the third game in particular is an excellent PS2 platformer. Again, in an era where like you think the PS2 would be quite good for platformers, not really. Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank is pretty much it.
this is part of it as well. Like the standards were still getting set when the PS2 was coming out. Like
Yeah.
what counts as like what am I trying to think? Like what the default button mappings, crap like that, wasn't set in stone with the PS2. It was with by the time the PS3 came out.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think it was
definitely,
also like the thing is also part of it where like people were kind of growing out of platformers a bit and they wanted something different,
yeah,
and then also game developers growing out of them as well because Naughty Dog was kind of getting sick of doing Crash Bandicoot and they sold it to Activision, and then we got shite like fucking. Oh, now they're Twin Sanity and they're teaming up with Cortex. Like shite, shite, shite. Never play this again. It's
you
terrible.
didn't wait, you didn't like Insanity?
No, I didn't. No, no, not a fan of it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, not a fan of it at all. Just broadly speaking, I don't think Crash Bandicoot, like outside of the fourth game, hasn't actually been good since Naughty Dog took it over, or like were in control of it, I should say, because it was their baby after all. After all, but you say the same thing about Spyro. When Spyro got bought out by Activision, and they ended up thinking, oh, do you know what would really make Spyro successful? If he was voiced by Elijah Wood. No,
In,
I'm
in
not gonna fucking.
fairness, in
Yeah.
fairness, about the same size eyes.
Okay, I'll grant you that one. That's fair. That's a fair point. And I met the guy in person. His eyes are that big. But it's the same thing where like it's. I think we grew out of mascot platformers, and now we've kind of grown back into it then, in a weird way, because it's again nostalgia is a full circle sometimes. You know, so I think, and plus as well, like it's considering like how many games get made, how big gaming is now. There's a market for fucking anything and everything.
Yeah.
So go nuts if you want to have a new Spyro game and only like a small market share, like play it. You'll probably break even because the game is probably that cheaply made that you can
Well,
get away with it.
didn't I'm trying to think what games from whenever we were teenagers came out that I didn't get a remaster of. Don't think I got a Tony Hawk. So did Tony Hawk remake actually make good on itself?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. Again, it's one of those ones where like you feel if you had one there, you'd probably take it. Yeah,
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 that was a good shot.
that was a good shot to be fair. But can't show any weaknesses. Come on. But that's the thing. Like I think for like it's one of those ones where like like something that would never be top of my own personal list. But then that's also the kind of the nature of nostalgia in a sense. Where like if it's the one thing you actually want, well, of course you're going to buy it. But then it's also the surprise and the curiosity that gets you more as well. It's like, oh, this one is back out. I have to see what this is like. You know, kind of way.
Yeah.
And plus, it's also like a nostalgia project. It's also a very good way of getting a junior studio up to scratch. Like that's how Toys for Bob has pretty much had to sustain itself because they got the contract for Spyro, they got the contract for Crash Team Racing, and I think they have. Did they do Crash 4 as well? I can't recall.
I think they did, yeah. So, in fairness, they did a great job with Crash Team Racing.
They did. They did a smashing job with it, and
I loved it. Pity that I didn't have the graw for online racing.
yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it. But then that's just the kind of nature of it as well, isn't it? Like you're with a racing game nowadays, you have to have the online play is kind of half the game now at this stage. You know?
Absolutely. No, I agree with them doing that, but still pity. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Crash Team Rumble in 2023.
Yeah, did you not know? Were you not aware of this?
No?
It's pretty much a remake of Crash Bash.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, it's a online. It's more online only though, so it's not quite the same setup.
Ah, damn. Because that could very well have been an easy Christmas present for Workbot.
Yeah, it was more. It was a bit of a cash in, to be honest. Unfortunately.
Ah, pity.
Yeah.
Oh, since June. God damn. But no, like
But that's also what I'm saying about like this now is such a good market for them to come back in because like you've got a whole new generation of kids who all have a Switch or all have a PlayStation and now they can all play these games now.
yep.
So like if you are a game studio that's had mascots in the past, they're the ones that start bringing out of the fucking like cupboards, and dust them
Hmm.
off, give them a wash and get them out there again.
So who would the Xbox equivalent of Crash Bandicoot or Pikachu have been?
That's a very good question. I actually don't know. Um, like technically speaking, because they're now part of the Xbox family, anything that's rare shaped now is
Anything that's
Xbox. Rare, as in the company Rare Software.
what did they make?
Banjo Kazooie,
Oh, okay.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. They had a golden era in when they were in the N64. But they are now bought out. They're part of the Xbox family now. They're Xbox exclusive. Um, they be ones you need to bring in. They want to like dust off Banjo Kazooie and Conquer for a new generation.
Yeah.
But the problem they have is that
Kids are
as
idiots.
well, yeah, it's Xbox, which is one, but also like they are developers only in a sense. They're not an actual like you wouldn't call them a studio as such.
Right.
So like it's very hard to like it'd be very hard for them to actually kind of like delegate enough to be able to put on something for themselves. But I mean, like, and they do get a lot of contracts as well. So like they did Battletoads a couple of years ago, and I think they did Killer Instinct as well. But they still would have they would probably have the license for Banjo Kazooie if they wanted to, but they have done Banjo Kazooie games in the Xbox before, and they were a travesty. They were shite. So there's a bit of gun shyness about it as well, especially if the last game in that mascot series has been shit.
Yes.
No one really wants to go there again unless you like
But
basically
if it wasn't shit, then it would have already gotten a remake by whoever actually settled something on a high.
Pretty much, yeah. Like it was the same with with Crash and Spyro in a sense. Like I think enough time had passed between the shit era of Crash Bandicoot that like people were now clamoring for the originals again.
Yeah.
Like with Spyro.
And again, such a pity that like so many of the good Crash games are now non-canon.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, but like, it's this is also the kind of the debate in a sense because like I look at the PS2 era of Crash outside of the first one, which is fine. I think the other two were a bit subpar, but that's also because I think when you got to PS2, they didn't evolve with it as well. So that, again, this is where you're trying to like change with the market as well. Where back in the PS2 era, we wanted to, here's a new dimension. Let's see what the new tech can do. And then now we're back in the PS5 era where we can have anything we wanted, develop any game you want with these people,
Yep.
and all we know now is just what it was in the PS1. It's stupid, like when you think about it.
Well, look, at the time when we were kids, we like had to beg for these kind of we had to beg for renting a video game out of Extravision on a weekend.
True.
Now we
Yeah.
are the ones who have money, supposedly.
Well, we're the ones that have money, but it's also like we're the ones that just want the creature comforts. I think is the main put and trust of it, isn't it? Like we want.
Yeah, we're not
want
getting
what's-
we're not getting anything else. So
Yeah,
let me
Yeah.
have my avocado toast. Let me have my Crash Bandicoot.
yeah, and as that sound, that's kind of like that is the market, And there's I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's important to recognize that. But but as I said, like if for those who want something new, I'm sure somebody will put out something new for that game. But I just want more of the same, and
And
I suppose,
yes, we complain that Pokemon is too samey.
yep. I mean, again, it's a fair point, but again, that's also the different market as well, isn't it? Like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
I'm just pointing out that there's
the idiosyncrasies, yeah,
hypocrisies.
yeah. Like I always find it funny that where like even certain things were like,
Grenade.
yeah, well, but even the like Rayman is back technically speaking, which is hilarious. But they brought him back in the weirdest possible way. Like he's a character in the Captain Laserhawk series on Netflix.
Wait, huh?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Oh, it makes absolutely no sense. It's so fucking bizarre. And I don't. It doesn't even like ring true as to why he's there, know. But he is now. Like it's so fucking strange. But here we are.
All right. I'm trying to think. At this point, you know where he is. He is essentially to your left and at the end of that gangway. You've fought him the one time, and you got taken out from everyone from all angles.
Yeah, like he basically kind of like ends up where there's like a little bottleneck where the stairs are, and he's kind of like surrounded himself here with a couple of goons. Again, not a terrifically difficult part here. It's just, as I said, just kind of getting them at the right time in a sense.
Yeah.
This is also a very annoying part. You probably noticed that like the game still locks on to corpses.
Oh, I was wondering why you were so fixated on that lad.
Yeah. The lock-on doesn't stop until they complete the death animation.
Well, that's so stupid.
It is very fucking stupid, and believe me, it's got me killed multiple times because I think this is to switch over to the next target, and there is no capability for that in the game.
Oh.
You deserve that. Dead. Thank fuck.
Downloading new agency intel to your personal network agent.
And now here's an interesting point. What happens when you die immediately after killing a target? Because that's what happened there. You know, asking yourself, did that count? Did it actually happen? Is he dead?
I really hope it did.
He is dead, confirmed.
Good.
The programming is good enough to withstand the death.
Just about.
Just about, yeah.
Workers are likely to prove less of a threat. Caution is still advised.
But yeah, no, like that's genuine. Like the Netflix series that's supposed to be like kind of like a expansion of the Blood Dragon game, the DLC from Far Cry. Basically, there's a whole load of references and hat tips to different characters and people, and Rayman is an actual character in the game.
This is where it's weird again, like pretending as if some of these games had a deep lore to them. Like Crash Bandicoot was silly. And Crash Bandicoot rewrite itself if it made sense for the gag in the moment. I don't think I need to have a heavy Crash lore game.
Man, I never asked for one myself anyway.
But like I imagined Rayman would have been something similar. Of Rayman does what he does because he does.
Yeah. But then, like you can say that about like most fucking most of that generation is like, do we need a reason for this for these guys to take on a certain way, like a session with animals?
So
no.
you're saying it's a turtle that tries to kidnap a mushroom queen and is stopped by a plumber. What's the deep lore there?
Yeah, I was about to say, do we need to hear any more? Are we done? I think we're good.
Did I say he's voiced by Chris Pratt?
Yeah, no.
I still haven't seen that film, and I wouldn't mind seeing it for the sheer shits and giggles.
I've heard it's okay. I've heard that it is actually supposed to be fine.
Yeah, I I will say I held off on seeing that, and I held off on getting the Detective Pikachu sequel that came out.
Yeah,
I really didn't have high hopes for it, and weirdly, I didn't see any advertising for it here.
it's apparently not that great. It's very 5 out of 10, very much more the same and kind of inferior. Apparently, it's apparently not quite not a good game.
That's not good. But like,
No,
as a like, okay, let that end of the franchise die.
yeah,